Spurs fans, anybody else disappointed that this coming season you're not going to be able to say Furphy for 3, 3 for 4 feet, 3 for 5? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports TGIF. Hope you're having a great day. The weekend's here. And boy, round 2 was also a surprise for us Spurs fans. Let's just get into this. I got 2 articles from Pounding the Rock. First, we're going to talk about what we did with our 35th pick. I mean, our 36th pick. We'll get into that in a moment. So we drafted Juan Núñez with the 36th pick. 6'4" guard, averaged 10 points per game, about 5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, with shooting splits of 47, 32, and 61. Núñez's greatest strength is his passing ability and the pick and roll, and I see a lot of comparisons to Ricky Rubio, but not to the level of Ricky Rubio. They pointed out a lot of negatives, and I kind of feel bad, but it is what it is here on Pounding the Rock. Núñez is a poor perimeter defender and is a very slow for a guard. To put it in perspective, he ran just 0.01 seconds faster than Purdue big man Zach Edey in the 3-quarter sprint at the NBA Draft Combine. I might be faster than him. He still struggles with turnovers. He shoots just 32% from 3, which you talked about, and 61% from the free throw line. So he's not a good shooter. It's likely that Núñez is a draft and stash pick. I mean, we kind of figured that when we drafted him, and we drafted Stephon Castle to hopefully be our point guard of the future. This is another point guard, so yeah, we drafted 2 guards in a row. The Núñez pick is a bit hard to swallow. There was career talent remaining on the board at 35, including Furphy, who was a better prospect than Núñez. Nikola Jursic was there, who may have higher upside. Drafting Núñez is another long-term move, signaling that San Antonio is remaining patient in its rebuild. By selecting a draft and stash player, they keep the cap flexibility. How much cap does a second-round pick at 36 take up anyway? I don't know. To acquire more assets this summer and beyond. The process makes sense, even if the prospect is less than perfect. They gave this draft grade a C. Sure, I'll go with the C on this, and I want to talk about this before we get into our other pick. So I didn't like this move. Furphy was there at 35. We're going to take him at 35, and just to get an idea of how he's grading out by the pace, what the grade is with the Pacers taking him at 35. I pulled up CBS Sports' little write-up, and here's what they had to say about that pick for the Pacers. Quote, Furphy not only falling out of the top 20, but then out of the first round entirely was the biggest surprise slip to me Wednesday. This presents excellent value for the Pacers, who traded for him, giving them a young, developmental prospect who has size and shot-making versatility, unquote. We need shooting. And instead of drafting a prospect that can shoot and appears to be a steal at 35, we draft another guard who needs to work on his shot. And is a slow guard, apparently. I would have rather have traded the 48th pick away. Look, I hope Núñez... I'm kind of at a loss for words. When we drafted Furphy at 35, I was excited. I was like, all right, it's a player that we can use. Whatever happens to the 48th pick, don't care. I know we're not in now win mode, but wouldn't we want to take a player with higher upside? Some of you mentioned that maybe he was not willing to take a 2-way contract, Furphy, that is. I don't know the whole situation. I just know this was not the best available prospect. We need shooting. And to get another non-shooting guard, and I'm not trying to disrespect Stephon Castle by putting him in that category, but that's where he is right now. And to do it again, even if it is a draft and stash, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Probably am. But as far as the pick, I'll give the pick a C like they did. As far as the move, the trade back, I personally don't like that. I give that an F for a conglomerate grade of a D. Let's talk about our other pick, who I'm certainly much more positive on. Harrison Ingram, 6'6" wing out of North Carolina. Last season, he averaged 12 points, 2 assists, 9 boards, 43% from the field, but 39% from the arc, 61% from free throw line. So 2 guys that can't shoot free throws. Let's talk about Ingram. Ingram is a big, strong wing at 6'6", 233 pounds. He has a 7-foot wingspan, which fits with the Spurs team that is moving toward length and versatility. Agreed? He's an aggressive player with solid athleticism. He showed the capability to switch onto faster guards and guard bigger players at the collegiate level. So far, it's good. He's a smart off-ball defender who has constantly rotating the block shots to take charges. Ingram averaged 5.3 assists as a sophomore, showing that he could have some upside as a secondary playmaker. If he can space the floor with his shooting while playing on the interior, the Spurs may have themselves a nice role player. Ingram has a cap ceiling due to his inability to create space off the dribble, currently profiles as a 3-and-D wing who can do a bit of playmaking. Ingram will find himself in the competition with Sidi Sissoko, Julian Champagnie, Malachi Branham, and potentially another veteran player for wing minutes next season. No matter how they decide to utilize him next season, Ingram is a solid addition so late in the draft. And they gave it a B, much like the thumbnail. I'm actually going to go a little step higher. I'm going to give it a B+. I like this one. I like this pick. I mean, picks this late in the draft, you're just throwing darts at the dartboard and hoping to get the best out of the player. I think that was a solid pick. A big guy, a wing that can give him some playmaking, some shooting. I mean, hopefully he's not a Julian Champagnie type 2.0. No disrespect to Julian Champagnie, but a guy that's just going to shoot threes and play some D. Does fall into the 3D, but hopefully gives us a little bit more in that. As far as Nunez, a few of you are high on him, say, man, this kid can pass. But everything else we read, there was a lot of negatives there on the Pounding the Rock article. There was a few positives, which of course I'll share, but a lot of it was in regards to his passing. But if he can't play D or can't shoot, I don't see him being a player that makes the roster. Ingram, yes, on a two-way contract, sure. Does he eventually make the roster? Maybe, maybe not. But I'd rather draft players with upside, and right now, honestly, I'm just not seeing the upside with Nunez. When we had Furphy there, Jursic was still available. The move, I'm trying to put it together, and I can't. The math is not mathing for me. As the smoke has settled and the dust has cleared, reading your comments, doing a little research, while draft night, I was not thrilled we traded away the 8th pick. I get it. Okay, I get it. I would probably like draft capital that's maybe a little not so far away, but maybe the Timberwolves will suck in 30 and 31. Who knows? But I get saving the money with the cap. They didn't think Dilly was the guy. They didn't think anybody that was around that number was worth drafting. We've talked about a little on the channel. I think Saloon going at 6, Klingon going at 7. The Spurs are like, we're out. You know what? We have this pick. We'll see who wants it. Timberwolves said, we want Rob Dillingham. What are you going to offer? And they traded it away. It is what it is. The 2020 draft, 25 draft next year is a much deeper and better draft. We have a ton of picks in that draft, so I'm cool with the move. In hindsight being 2020. Maybe I'll be cool with this move tomorrow. Maybe you guys are going to need some insight saying, no, TSR, you know what? This one, you're kind of wrong on this one too. This was a good move for us. I would have rather taken the guy with high upside at 35 and then traded with a 48th pick if we're worried about some kind of cap situation. So that's all I got. Drop a comment down below. Your thoughts on both players, both players to trade. Would you have wanted Furphy at 35 or Jursic or somebody else? Do you think the Spurs blew it with that trade in the second round, or was it the right move? Planning for the future. Hit the thumbs up, like, support the channel, and subscribe to become part of our awesome San Antonio Spurs community. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go. Ready